Welcome to the Thaiger and another Thaiger story. Today we're talking apps, the top 10 apps to use here in Thailand. And this is Michael Kenner. He is our app man for today. Why are you qualified to talk about apps?
I love technology. I love convenience. And I think that the evolution of apps has really bridged these two together. So as a tourist, as an expat, as a foreigner within Thailand, these apps make my life really, really easy. And I recommend this for anyone coming or living in Thailand. These are the top 10 that you would really benefit by.
Let's get started. So Michael's the app man and we're starting at number 10 and we're talking about Line. Line, not really used in other countries, but Thais really love it.
Yeah, so in Southeast Asia, Line is the dominant messaging app. Well, that and WeChat. So Line is the equivalent to, I think, the West version of WhatsApp.
Now, WhatsApp and Instagram have been bought by Facebook, but Line is a Japanese-owned company.
Correct.
And it's massively popular in Thailand.
Massively popular. I think if you want to communicate with anyone in Thailand, whether that's it could be for just reasons of looking for a taxi and taking a number, or a restaurant, or you just meet someone, you would exchange Line. You wouldn't exchange WhatsApp. They still have this here, but very, very small percentage users. So for communication, Line's amazing, and it really does help as well with cross language, because they have the use of huge amounts of emojis. Not the emojis in the sense that we use them, like the crying face or the thumbs up, but they use a lot of bears.
And it's very like animated and a lot of animals and the bears, but there's thousands of different emojis. They've really gone down that track, and the Asians love it.
Correct, because I think it allows them to express their feelings with just a picture as opposed to words. And I think when you're communicating with Thais, I have a lot of them, like someone was trying to sell me insurance recently and they messaged me online. Instead of it being a professional message, it was a bear popping up saying, "Hi." And I was like, okay, well, this is how it works here. So I think that for any expat or tourist in Thailand that wants to communicate with the locals and stay in contact, Line is the go-to app.
Now, one thing that foreigners can really take advantage of is this app. I don't think a lot of people really know how useful it can be.
So that will be Google Translate, and unbelievably useful. It's actually been developed further and further as time goes on. So not only now can you type in stuff and it will give you the translation in Thai, obviously you can reverse and Thai to English. You can even dictate into the app, and that could be both in English or Thai or even another language, and it will just translate it straight out.
So you can go, show me the kitchenware at a shop, and it'll say that in Thai or any other language for that matter to the shop staff.
Correct, and if you rotate the app, it will actually come up on a big screen, like in very large letters, so they can actually see. So say you walk into a restaurant, you have a nut allergy, you can just say, "I have a nut allergy," turn it to them, and they can understand that you have a nut allergy. And there is lots of different functions of added to the app. For example, now you can use augmented reality to take a picture of your menu and it will just translate it into English.
And also you can do that live, where you can just point the camera at the word and it'll translate in real time. Now, of course, in Thai, it's still a sort of a project in motion. Thai doesn't translate very well into English, as well as other languages. But the app can do so much.
Agreed, and it's just getting better and better. The translation is actually working more and more.
And it's free.
Yep, it's free, and I think that, although it's not 100%, you would understand roughly where the person's going to go with this. And I think it can be extremely useful at all times, unless you're bilingual, multilingual. You can pick up Thai in a very rapid fashion, which unfortunately I haven't had the chance to do.
No, I'm a bit the same. I'm stupid when it comes to languages. Okay, from translation to matters of eating, this app is something that you use really often?
Yep, so Itago has grown quite quickly as well, not just in Thailand. Mainly the regions are Phuket and Bangkok that it serves, but other regions across Southeast Asia. And what this does is they work with restaurants and find out times they're not busy. So for example, between 3 and 4, maybe one restaurant would say, and they offer discounts.
Okay. And so how does it show up on the app?
So you can select restaurants near you and it will show which restaurants are offering which discounts at which time. So the restaurants will be running discounts the whole day. Some may be 10%, but at certain times you get 50% discounts. Usually these are unsociable eating times, like post-lunch, when they're quiet. So it allows the restaurants to fill out over their quiet times. It allows us to eat at a much more reasonable price. So you go to the app, you can see what's there, and then you can literally say, I'm going to book this restaurant for 4 people at maybe 30 to 50% discount.
Wow.
And the value's there.
And this would be like a large range of restaurants, or is it quite small range?
So they're growing how many restaurants they have currently. So I would say that it's on the smaller side. So at the moment it's more boutique places that are offering these discounts. But I've seen the inventory growing quicker and quicker. I think COVID has been a problem where it's slowed down because obviously people aren't eating in, and they're opting to eat out a lot more. But I think in a post-COVID era, once people start arriving back in Thailand, this app will be one of the go-to apps for eating in within the restaurant.
Okay, to our 7th most popular app, as decided by Michael, the app man, and this one's all about flights. Why can't I just go on to Thai Airways or Thai Vietjet and book a flight?
So you obviously can. I think what Skyscanner does is it aggregates not just the airlines, but the agencies as well. Now, airlines sell exclusive inventories at agencies at discount. So sometimes it's cheaper to actually go and book your flight with whatever airline this is through an agency, because the prices are actually lower than if you went to the website and booked directly.
So does the airline provide these agencies with special deals?
Correct, that's what happens.
Okay, so this is like an aggregator.
Yep, so this is an aggregator. So you could be, say I'm in Phuket, which I've just actually used on flying back to Bangkok this evening. I went to Skyscanner, had a full list of all the inventory of all the flights. I filtered out my times I wanted to fly. It gave me the best price, because in Southeast Asia, the airlines are very much similar, the ones flying in and out of the specific regions. So I'm saying I'm okay with whoever I fly with and just choose based on value.
How about when it comes to things like refunds or changing flights?
Okay, so aggregators aren't the best with this. So airlines prefer you to book directly with the airline, and they charge you.
The airlines aren't very good with changing schedules or refunds either.
Agree. So I think you wouldn't be using Skyscanner, in my opinion, as an app basis if you're booking your flight from, say, London or Frankfurt or Paris to say Thailand. But if you're using interprovincial travel, this would be the go-to app, because it's very, very quick. It's very easy to see the results. The prices are all being updated consistently in real time, and booking is becoming very, very easy through the app.
A well-designed app?
Very well-designed app.
And they've been around for quite a long time, so they've had time to sort of refine and evolve their the look of the app and the working model.
Agreed. And I think now it's becoming one of the most popular apps for travel in global travel. I think in Thailand there's a few alternatives to this, like Traveloka, who's becoming a growing company within Southeast Asia. But I think for me, and what I would recommend to expats or tourists that are coming to Thailand, the Skyscanner is as good as any other platform. So Skyscanner definitely gets a thumbs up from me.
Okay, our countdown of the best apps to use here in Thailand, and we've spoken a lot about spending money. How about getting money into the country?
Yep. So the best app and the best platform that I use is actually a platform called Transferwise. I think recently it's just rebranded to Wise, and they've dropped the transfer.
Okay, so this is about transferring money from overseas into Thailand.
So either side. So basically, when you traditionally transfer money, you would go to either a bank and you would pay a fee on currency exchange. Usually around 2% is what the average that banks charge, which is a lot just to move your money from, say, euro or sterling or dollar to another currency. With Transferwise, you basically get very reduced fees. They're cutting out these banks, and they're trying to get you as close to the mid-rate as possible. That's the aim of the game.
Okay, what about using an ATM?
Yep, so when you go to use ATM with a cash card or a credit or debit card that's not of Thai descent, basically you get a fee of around 220 baht, which is...
That's a lot.
Yeah, I mean, $6 to $8. It's a hefty amount to pay, especially if you just want to take a few thousand baht out. So what you end up doing is going to a cash machine and taking out 10,000 baht because you want to, the fee to actually mean something. So I think that you want to try and avoid using ATMs if you're a foreigner or a tourist coming to Thailand with your car specifically. I think what Transferwise has really done well is that basically they've gone head on against Western Union, who had extortionate fees for what they were doing, because there used to be Western Union branches all over Thailand for money transfer.
Well, they sort of are the long traditional company that have been going for hundreds of years that have slowly evolved into an app, and they've had the market pretty much to themselves.
Yeah, agreed. But I think now with platforms like Transferwise that have come in, they do a very, very good job of sending money in different currencies to different bank accounts. So the way the app actually works is you load in all your details, and literally I can send sterling, from my perspective, send sterling to Thailand in Thai baht. I would receive the money in usually around 2 hours in my bank account for a very, very low fee, and it's absolutely perfect.
You'd think the banking at some stage will get the people out of it, where all this would be automatic, or it would just be an electronic transfer and it would happen instantly, but that hasn't happened yet.
Not yet, and I think that's the argument with the whole crypto, the rise of cryptocurrencies. But I think until that argument is fully satisfied, I think Transferwise does a very good job of allowing us to denominate within one currency very quickly.
Now to number 5, your 5th most popular app, or the best app, and we've got the money here from Transferwise. How are we going to spend it?
So Lazada is a very good platform and an app. So to give anyone a background about Lazada, it's basically a clone of Amazon. Okay, it's by a company called Rocket Internet. They bring concepts from the West and take it to the East. And that's what's happened with Lazada. And there's other platforms here like Shopee, who's a very big version of e-commerce. But the reason why I've chosen Lazada is because it's very geared towards English-speaking people. They have the Thai version, but the English-speaking part is good. And you can order any product you want, and delivery is relatively quick.
It's like an online shopping mall, shopping centre.
Correct. And I think that you can order absolutely everything. You have such a huge range. Something I was ordering previously was, an iPhone charger, and had the choice of hundreds of chargers, hundreds of colours, hundreds of designs. And I really thought that, and reviews that back it up to make sure you're getting the right product. So instead of going into some sort of store or mall or market to negotiate the price of a charger down, I'm never going to get the best price anyway, Lazada offers these options at extremely great value.
So it's a bit hit and miss, because you're not getting to try before you buy, and sometimes you may need to send things back. But like in the last month, I bought 2 beds, a swimming pool, not a big swimming pool. I bought clothes, I bought some shoes. And so it's amazing how quickly we're adapting to, instead of going to the shopping centre and walking around and having a coffee and taking hours out of your day, this is becoming sort of the thing to do. And the best thing, I suppose, that's happened for Lazada and Shopee and all these other apps is all the lockdowns. We're sort of been forced into it.
Oh, 100%. So I started really using Lazada during March 2020, when the lockdown was quite heavy within Phuket and you could not travel beyond, say, your area. And how would you buy anything? But Lazada was the solution, because this was actually allowed to come into different areas. And I think the only issue with Lazada is every time you order something, you get like a dopamine rush. So you end up ordering things you might not need. I've been through this multiple times where I've got a load of stuff within my storage capacity that I actually didn't need, and I just got carried away with recommendations of products. They've got a very clever machine learning.
Well, as soon as the sale's gone through, I notice it comes up with continue shopping, and it puts up things that it knows you've been searching for.
Oh, agreed. And you end up buying absolutely everything. But I think the value is really good, delivery is really good. Just some tips on how to use the platform. I think that if you're looking for quick delivery, just make sure you choose local within Thailand, because if it's come from China, you've got the shipping and the import side, which can take time.
And it's harder to send it back if you're not happy.
Yeah. The other part you want to look out for is if you're looking for like genuine goods that aren't copied, there's something called the Lazada, which is basically guaranteed by Lazada. This stuff is all real and authentic. That way you don't end up with a fake iPhone. I think for some small products, you can choose just from the market. I think for some stuff, whether you want some good electronics, that you're definitely looking for this one brand, you want to make sure you go with Lazada.
Counting down Mike's top 10 apps to use here in Thailand, whether you're traveling here or whether you actually live here. This one's pretty close to our heart, but what if I want to find the news each day?
Well, if you're looking for the news at the moment, predominantly everything's on web-based platforms. and then it's a bit of a minefield to navigate. So right now the Thaiger just launched our first app for the news. This is on iOS and Android, and the experience is really good. It's only news. So as the Thaiger moves into more products, the app, if you want to just tie in just the pure news of what's going on in Thailand, to know what's happening, when it's happening, and be notified, the Thaiger app is perfect for this.
And you can choose which particular subjects you want sent, or the ones you don't want sent, or you don't want to be sent any reminders at all.
Correct. So like you can customize all notifications and everything else, and it's basically what you would get out of a kind of a good Western media company, but now in Thailand. There are other apps to use. I think, just trying to think English-wise, I think you have the Bangkok Post.
Yes.
But our app is, download it and play around with it. You'll realize that the quality is built just for the mobile experience, and obviously tablet. Everything has been designed for this, so it works really, really well. And we believe that this is probably one of the, if not the only English news app that works, but a very good version of what you were looking for in consuming English news.
At the moment, Thaiger does around about 15 to 20 stories a day. That's going to be increased, and we're going to start doing world news as well. So it would literally be a sort of a great place to start each day. I think we've done very well pushing our own app.
We have indeed.
Our countdown of Mike's top 10 apps to be used here in Thailand, ones that he's used extensively, and also we've looked at many apps and tried all these, and we're up to number 3. And this is all about, something that we used to go to a travel agent, say 20 years ago. Now we can do this online on an app.
Yep, so Agoda. And
Agoda, that A-G-O-D-A.
Yeah, like Agoda. Now, to give you some context, this is the equivalent of Booking.com in Southeast Asia. It's actually owned by the same company. So it was formerly Priceline Group that bought Kayak, Agoda and Booking.com. So this is all one large monopoly on the way the hotel booking markets works.
Agoda started in Phuket, Thailand.
It's one of the very few tech Phuket success stories, and now they're actually the biggest booking engine in the whole world.
Why is Agoda better than, say, bookings.com or hotel.com?
Okay, so there is much of a muchness because they all share the same inventory. I think Agoda is just geared towards the Asian markets, whereas booking.com is geared towards Europe and the West. So for Thailand specifically, I only really use Agoda. And the reason I use Agoda is, one, they've got very good customer service. So if you end up going to a hotel that is not how it seems, that is, the pictures are very deceptive, Agoda actually manages that process, and I've been refunded multiple times by Agoda for hotels that were not by the hotel itself, but actually by Agoda, just saying, hey, you're a valuable customer to us, you book lots of hotels. The other reason I love Agoda is because the app is so easy to use. It's literally one-click booking of hotels. So why would you use the Agoda app, not the website? Well, really, if you're, say, traveling around Bangkok, for example, as I do, and I pop into Asok, I can click hotels near me, and it will just show me the best hotels with the best deals near me.
Now, the best deals, are they really best deals, or are they just hyperbole on the app?
Okay, so some tips of use. Now, there's lots of cognitive signals, which is meant to get our brain wired, which are things like last booked 3 minutes ago, last from left, price dropped down from...
I better book right now.
Right, price dropped from 20,000 to 3,000 baht. You're thinking, that has to be a crazy deal. The reality is these are just cognitive signals that that Agoda and these booking companies are using to make you make decisions. So number one, ignore all that stuff.
And this is the Agoda version of, do you want fries with that?
Yeah, pretty much. Do you want to upsize your drink?
Yeah.
So number one, ignore the cognitive signals. Number two, search based on user ratings. So sort by user ratings, not by recommended. Recommended is what Agoda wants to serve you, and that might be based on what deals they actually have and how much they get paid. So sort by user ratings, then remove stuff that has, say, below 100 ratings, because you can't be sure. So once you've actually sorted by user ratings, then filter kind of what type of stuff you want. Once you've got a price, because every property or every house or every home or hotel in Agoda was X amount and is now this. Usually this is all just clever marketing. So change the calendar for 3 weeks forward and see if it's the same price. If it's the same price, you know it's not a deal. If the price is 5 times more, you know you probably have a deal. So
are they sort of moving into the Airbnb space as well?
Yeah, and good question. And yes, they are. So now Agoda have all private homes, whether that's apartments or houses or villas, and hotels side by side. So for families looking for either hotel options or potentially, whether it's a big family room or slightly bigger and moving to a private accommodation, now Goda offers everything in one place.
Now, number 2 in our top 10 apps, as compiled by Michael Kenner, and we're down to number 2, and I'm hungry.
I'm hungry. Yep, always. It's everyone's thing. And foodpanda has had explosive growth within Thailand and Asia over the last 18 months.
Explosive. And if a pandemic couldn't have happened at a better time, foodpanda has been a big beneficiary of it.
Yep. So if you live here, and you'll see the foodpanda bikes going everywhere, and if you don't live here, you're welcoming a new era in of motorbikes, all branded as foodpanda in every province within Thailand, going around delivering food. Now, they don't just do food delivery. The first thing they have a huge range of choice. So the reason why I've chosen this as opposed to any other app is for foreigners or expats or tourists, is that they very much cater for the full palate, not just Thai, but the full Western palate, or any palate basically, a full diverse range of choices. And they offer really, really good deals, like amazing deals. You'll find that you see 50% off, buy one, get one free. Amazing deals. It's actually cheaper to order on foodpanda than it is to go into the restaurant and order it yourself.
So what's in it for the restaurants if they're getting, a 20 or 30% cut off the price, which is going to foodpanda for providing the service? What's in it for the restaurants?
So you're seeing the same within other industries, where say every retailer in say Europe would have to be on Amazon, or every airline would have to be on aggregators otherwise. So every food provider now probably needs to be on foodpanda or an equivalent service for distribution of food, because what we're seeing is that especially during the pandemic, is a move away from pure restaurants to pop-up kitchens and apartments. So if you're a great chef, and anyone out there is a great chef, you can effectively set up a restaurant in your apartment. You make great food, you can distribute, you don't have the overheads and cost of having a restaurant. So you're seeing lots of this appear absolutely everywhere. So the choice is becoming lots.
I've known of 3 or 4 restaurants that I know locally that I used to go and visit, but in the last year it's become more difficult to go to them. They've not only shut the door, they've removed all the tables, they've put in extra cooking facilities and places for the foodpanda and the other delivery services to sit, and they've just become a virtual restaurant.
Yep, and this is happening, I think, globally. People opting to eat at home as opposed to dining inside or dining outside. And also, restaurants are usually only busy between certain periods of time, unless you've got a very good restaurant, with a good atmosphere. So what we're finding is that the empty periods, they might as well just do distribution. And the great thing about the app is that once it's all set up, it's literally, you put in your address, you can have multiple addresses. I have my office in there, my home, and it's literally one-click orders, and it reminds you of the existing orders you've done. So when I turn up on my office, I would literally have a coffee waiting for me from a coffee club, and they give you 2 for 1 if you order on foodpanda. But if you go within coffee club, it's normal price. So, and it arrives on the time it should be, and it's all being paid for online. So it's very, very convenient, very good prices. You will find choice of restaurants you didn't know exist, because you could not go and visit these restaurants over the whole geographical area of say Phuket or Bangkok. But now you've got this at your fingertips, and Thailand has some amazing food options.
Hasn't done much for the reduction in plastic, but that's another story. Time for number 1 in our top 10 apps, as chosen by Michael Kenner. And what have you got for number 1?
So my go-to app within Thailand now, and this has just been huge, explosive growth, more than any other platform we've ever seen, is Grab. So to give you a background of Grab, so the main asset they deliver is rides, the equivalent of Uber. So Uber was actually in Thailand, and I believe that Grab actually bought Uber Southeast Asia, and they've provided it now across Southeast Asia. But why Grab is so good is that Southeast Asia economies work differently from the West. We have a lot of bikes, motorbikes everywhere. Okay, So, for example, when you're in Bangkok, the best way to get around is probably by bike.
No doubt.
Yep. It's probably not the safest, but it's definitely, it cuts out huge amounts of time going through traffic. For Westerners, tourists, foreigners, we usually pay a premium. And the reason is that Thais will get the same equivalent journey for 20 baht, we'll probably pay 60 baht. Okay, it's still cheap for us, but we don't want this, we want to pay the same. So with Grab, all the prices are pre-agreed, that's the first thing. So you go on the app, you choose your pickup location, where you're going to, and then the bike or taxi just arrives. And it takes you to your exact destination without any problems. There's no name hotel, name restaurant, looking it up and miscommunication. It's literally just an app and it works really, really well.
And don't have to worry about the meter not working.
Oh, agreed. So, the time's turning up at the airport and they're like, no meter. This is now not a case. And it's basically revolutionized the way transportation is working. I'll give you a great example. In Phuket, we have a lot of tuk-tuks everywhere. And taxis are all fixed price in relation to going to the airport and other regions. Very expensive and overpriced in relation to Thailand. Now with the Grab app, you can literally, get prices reduced to normalized prices, and you have choice. So they're doing a really, really good job here at providing that service.
But it's not just motorbikes and taxis, they do other stuff. It's sort of become like a mega app.
Agreed, it's becoming a whole ecosystem. So some of the other stuff that's really useful is they've got Grab Eats, which is basically a competitor to foodpanda. Now the only reason I didn't suggest this as the place to go to order food is very geared towards the local economy, which is pure Thais, but definitely there's lots of choice on there. They offer Grab groceries, so you can get all your groceries delivered. So instead of going to 7-Eleven and picking up huge amounts of bottles of water and taking this back to your condo, your villa, if you don't have a car and you're on a bike or you're walking, now this can all be delivered and very conveniently directly to your doorstep. They also have a service where you can send items like a parcel delivery service,
right?
But instantly.
But as far as shopping is concerned, I'd sort of still like to go and squeeze my avocado.
Okay, yeah. So there is obviously some instances where some people prefer to go into the shops, but during COVID, you couldn't do this. And I think people have realised and opted to move online. And yes, ideally you can squeeze your avocado, but I think people have realised that avocados are usually okay just coming online and selecting a few products. But for the stuff that is very itemised commodities, it's perfect for this type of stuff. So Grab have built a whole ecosystem.
Yeah.
They move into finance and all different other things. But I think for expats and tourists, the things we want to focus on is getting travel, which is the Grab bikes and Grab taxis, the Grab food and Grab delivery, sending parcels to other people, which is instant. So I can send something to yourself from my house and it will be picked up in half an hour and sent directly to you and you receive it.
And it's all on your phone on one really easy to use app.
One app, and it's got geolocation, so you just click pick me up, take me to there, and it will show you the car or bike coming through, and you'll see how long you've got to the car arrives. So you can plan, instead of standing outside waving down a taxi in the street and then negotiating prices, this will probably become a thing of the past moving forward.
Big changes. Now, that's our top 10, but we've got a bit of a bonus app. I've never heard of this one.
Okay, so a useful app that's coming out, which is actually out, is an app called ViaBus. Now, ViaBus is, well, I first identified this in Phuket where there is no public transportation, didn't exist. And the introduction of the smart bus, which was basically the first form of public transportation that existed in Phuket. But the question is where is it and how often does it come?
It wasn't that smart.
Yeah, agreed. So it was a bus that's coming down and will go along the coast to each different part of Phuket, all the way from the airport through, which you can find out about somewhere else. But what the app does is it shows you where the bus is and where the pickup points are. So it's basically a live map and you can see the buses moving across Phuket. This isn't just for Phuket, it lists all public transportation. That includes boats in Bangkok, because there's a lot of canal travel, and buses and trains.
What about Chiang Mai, Samui, Pattaya?
So I haven't actually checked for these regions,
Aha.
but I think in Pattaya, where there's a lot of BART buses, I don't think this will map this out. I don't think this is going to be working. But I think with Pattaya, with the BART buses, I think they're everywhere. There's hundreds of them. You just have to wait 10 seconds. I don't think you need an app to find out 10 seconds later you're going to be picked up. I would have to come back to you about the other regions, but it's a bonus app. It's not one of my go-to apps that I use. This is just if you're here and you're looking to come from the airport to, say, your destination in Phuket, just check on via bus. Maybe the bus is there instead of spending, 1,000 baht or whatever they're going to charge to get you to your hotel. The bus will just take you there as well. So it's very, very useful for traveling around Thailand and specifically Phuket and Bangkok.
So that's our top 10 apps plus one. There's information and links under this story. Thank you, Michael.
Welcome.
And thank you for watching another Thaiger story. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you next time.